We're set for Game 2 of this 3-game series. It's the Cubs hosting the Houston Astros. We'll have all the action coming up next.
Chicago Cubs baseball, brought to you by Budweiser. Crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer. By the Illinois Lottery. No matter how you play, play the Illinois Lottery. Have a ball. Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Chicago Cubs. And by Southwest Airlines. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, Southwest can get you there with over 3,000 nonstop daily flights to over 60 destinations. Visit southwest.com today.
One, two, one, two, one, two. All right.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Well, it is Flag Day. It is also the 231st birthday for the United States Army. Tonight's Cubs broadcast in high definition from Wrigley Field is sponsored by Comcast and presented in Dolby 5.1 digital surround sound. And we had the Golden Knights parachute team enter the ballpark in a unique way tonight. Great to have them here. Also a variety of Army vets, many with local ties, being honored beforehand tonight. Great to have them here at Wrigley Field. We're getting set for baseball tonight. The Astros line up this way offensively. Biggio, Lamb, and Burke at the top. Career night for Chris Burke last night. Berkman, Lane, and Wilson in the middle. Ausmus, Everett, and Oswalt at the bottom. We are ready. Maddox against Biggio. They've done this before. Ball one.
119 career at-bats for Craig Biggio against Greg Maddox. I think they know each other pretty well by now.
That is a strike, the first one of the night. 1-1 the count. Numbers for Greg Maddox, seeking his 8th win this year and number 326 in his career. First time this year he has faced the Astros. Biggio with a lazy fly out into left center. Matt Merton squeezes out number one.
Let's take a look at the Cubs defensively. Brought to you by Pepsi. We saw Matt Merton in left field, Juan Pierre in center, Jock Jones in right field, Ramirez and Cedeno on the left side, Nafi Perez with good numbers against Roy Oswalt getting the start at second. Phil Nevin hit his 3rd home run as a member of the Cubs in 25 at-bats last night against Andy Pettitte. Michael Baird behind the plate and Greg Maddox on the mound.
One of the minor league umpires, Lance Barksdale, filling in this series, working the plate tonight. The crew chief, Dale Scott, is at third base tonight. Lance Barksdale, born in Brookhaven, Mississippi. 0-2 on Mike Lamb. Astros won 9-2 in game 1 last night. No Morgan Ensberg again tonight. We saw Eric Bruntlett at third last night, and Lamb tonight. A shoulder injury for Morgan Ensberg, and Mike Lamb just shattered his bat, but picks up a base hit on an 0-2 pitch.
Kind of uncharacteristic for Greg Maddux to throw a hittable pitch in an 0-2 count. Usually he takes that opportunity to run a cutter right in on the hands of the hitter. That time a cut fastball hit right off the very end of the bat. The bat just explodes in the hands of Mike Lamb. Just gooses it out there into shallow left field.
So he becomes the first base runner tonight. Speaking of base runners, Chris Burke got on every time he came to the plate last night. 4 hits, including a home run. He walked, stole a base, and scored 5 times. That, folks, is a career night. So he has reached in 7 consecutive plate appearances and has 5 straight hits.
That's a good day at the office.
And the reward is you get to bat third.
If he does it again tonight, he'll be hitting cleanup tomorrow.
That's Cedeno at short. Perez with the turn. They get 2. They go 6-4-3, and that ends the Astros' first inning. Cubs coming up. Lineup, same personnel 1 through 8, just a couple of little flip-flops. Pierre, Perez, Barrett, and Evan 1 through 4. Ramirez, Jones, Merton, and Cedeno 5 through 8. Greg Maddux comes in at $154.
Take a look at the Astros defensively. Wilson, Burke, and Lane across the outfield today. Mike Lamb getting the start at third base. Adam Everett, one of the best defensive shortstops in the game. Craig Biggio over at second base. Lance Berkman at first tonight. Brad Ausmus behind the plate for right-hander Roy Oswalt, making his first start since coming off the disabled list with a mid-back strain.
And was pitching pretty well before he went on the DL. However, he has not won since May 3rd. 5 straight winless starts. But over his last 4 outings before the DL, a .205 earned run average. Not getting a lot of run support.
Yeah, 4 of his 5 starts in that stretch were the infamous quality starts. You know, the big thing about Oswalt, obviously he's got good stuff, a good fastball, overhand curve. He'll throw a change up. He'll sink his fastball. It's that herky-jerky delivery. Seems to jump at the hitter at the very end of his windup. Usually it takes an at-bat or 2 to get your timing against this guy.
Juan Pierre, 2 for 5 with an RBI last night. And the 2-1 delivery, 3-1. Good eye by the Cubs leadoff man. He and Nafee have done pretty well against Roy Oswalt. They combined 13 for 32. Todd Walker hitting .211 in his career against Oswalt, so Walk on the bench again tonight to start it. 3-2. Cubs have won 3 of 4. Had their season high tying 3-game winning streak snapped last night. Right now they're 11 under, 26 up, 37 down, 12 back of St. Louis. Cubs residing in 5th. The Astros are 6 out, a game over 500. Lined right at Mike Lamb, and Juan Pierre is the first out.
I talked about Adam Everett at shortstop for the Astros, one of the best defensive shortstops in the game, and he made a gem against Juan Pierre last night on the run. Barehand catch and throw onto Berkman at first base just in time to get Juan Pierre. You can't do it much better than that. Very sure-handed. He's made only 3 errors in 58 ball games this year.
So here's Nafee batting left-handed against the right-hander Oswalt. Essentially, Oswalt missed 2 starts on the 15-day disabled list.
And he's not pitching with any kind of limitations tonight. It's more of an effectiveness count than a pitch count. Phil Garner feels he's still making all his pitches and has good command. The normal pitch count for Oswalt would be like a lot of the premier starters in the National League, somewhere between 100 and 120. Still would like to see the Cubs work some deep counts early in the ball game if possible. Anybody coming off the disabled list is going to be a little bit rusty. And maybe have a little more adrenaline flowing than normal.
Chop to third. Easy play for Lamb. So with 2 outs, it'll bring up Michael Barrett as he and Roy Oswalt renew acquaintances. Michael 6 for 17 with a home run against Oswalt. Again, it is Flag Day 2006, June 14th. Off the inside part of the plate. It looks like Michael's appeal of his 10-game suspension will be heard on Friday. So after they have the appeal process, MLB will make its determination, and then he'll have to serve. But there's no guarantee that that'll start Friday. It could be next week before the process really is final. And Barrett shoots that one into center. It's going to hold up for Chris Burke. It's a 1-2-3 first for Roy Oswalt. No score. Some sailboats out on Lake Michigan tonight. 62 degrees here at game time. Winds out of the northeast at 6. Few droplets of rain during batting practice. There's a dribbler hit toward third by Berkman, and Ramirez will not make a throw. Swinging bunt, base hit for Lance Berkman. Well, you think about the 2 hits the Astros have. It's not how you teach it necessarily, but they both count.
Yeah, they do count, and this is unusual for Lance Berkman. He's a guy that does not normally hit well with nobody on base. Only a .237 hitter with the bases empty this season, but a little swinging bunt down the third base line. Ramirez with no play. Batting over 400 with runners on base.
Now that thing he just put in his mouth, was that around his thumb, I think, when he bats?
Yeah. Some guys.
That is hit to deep left, and it's just over Matt Merton. He went crashing into the wall. Berkman's going to stop at third. That's a double for Jason Lane. Matt got twisted a little bit and left on a ball that was smoked by the Astros right fielder. Probably didn't feel too good when he went crashing into the ivy. We've talked about it. There's no padding behind it.
That's one advantage a center fielder has over a corner outfielder. Juan Pierre could clearly see that Lane was out in front of that pitch, and it was going to hook as it went to left field. But Matt Merton's initial instinct was to turn to his left, had to turn his back completely to home plate and turn back around to his right to try to make that play. Yeah, with more experience out there, seeing more balls off the bat, Matt should figure it out eventually. That's a ball he should have turned to his right immediately.
Preston Wilson has had a good time against the Cubs, 8 for 15 with 3 RBIs. The RBIs all came last night. Sorry to interrupt you talking about the thumb.
Yeah, it's called different things, some of which I can't use on the air. But yeah, basically it's for the guys who the bat handle tends to get jammed down into the meaty part of their thumb. So they wear that little circular thing with a pad on it to protect that area of the hand. And some guys get jammed more often than others. And for the guys that don't use that pad, they frown on it for the guys that do.
There's a bouncer to short. Berkman will score. And Wilson thrown out. His 4th RBI already in this series. 1-0 Houston. And it's Brad Ausmus with Lane at second. And 1 out in the inning. I know some starting pitchers, I'm sure, would give a different philosophy depending on the guy. And without having asked Greg Maddux specifically about it, I know in talking to one starting pitcher in the past, a situation like he was facing, second and third with nobody out, the philosophy was just forget about the runners. Just assume they're going to score. If they don't, that's great, but just concentrate on the hitter. Get some outs. Because you really start to get in that limit the damage mode as opposed to doing everything you can. We're talking early in a game. If you press trying to keep those runners right where they are, that can hurt you more than it helps.
I'm not laughing at you, Lynn. I'm watching Brad Ausmus here. 2 backdoor sinkers on the outside corner, and he didn't like either one of them. But being the catcher for the Astros, he knows there's a very fine line for what he can say to Lance Barksdale this early in the ball game and when he should keep his mouth shut. Right now, he's biting his tongue.
See what he gets here on an 0-2. It was a breaker and a base hit to right. Lane is stopped at third by Doug Mansolino. First and third. Third hit of the inning.
Couple of backdoor sinkers, and then Maddux tries to drop a curveball on that outside corner. Ausmus probably figures this is a favor, a high curveball. Just flicks it out there with his wrist. All his weight is out on his front foot. That's a very wristy hand swing right there, but finds a gap in the right side of the infield for a base hit.
What Greg needs here is a double play, which he got in the first.
He can do that. He can throw that ground ball with the best of them.
Squeeze play is on. Maddox will throw high to first. Nevin, though, able to get his toe on the base. So Adam Everett picks up an RBI on a sacrifice. The suicide squeeze works for the Astros 2-0.
Well, even though he didn't get the out at home plate, this is a nice play by Greg Maddux. If he gets this ball cleanly out of his glove right there, he probably flips it to Michael Barrett. When he realized he didn't get the ball cleanly out of his glove, he went ahead and got the sure out at first base. Not very many pitchers can make that kind of split-second decision and still get the out at first.
So those first two guys who had reached were able to score. He's now trying to get out of it as he faces a pitcher, Oswald, who's 2 for 27 on the season. But his on base is pretty healthy at 138. One and one. '25th RBI of the year for Everett. Grounder up the middle. Nafee able to stop it. The throw will be just a little bit late. I don't even know how he had a shot at Oswald, but he almost threw him out. He also potentially saved a run because Ausmus couldn't try to score. So that'll be a hit for Oswald.
That's part of the reason Nafee Perez is in the lineup tonight. His range defensively at second base, and he displays it right here. Goes behind the bag to make the diving catch, and just a little bit too late over there at first base. Nice pick by Phil Nevin to keep that ball on the infield, but as you said, for the time being, most importantly, it saved a run.
Well, we've talked about these two guys having matched up a lot over the last almost 2 decades. Maddox and Biggio. And we don't have a lot longer to use this graphic because Roger Clemens is going to come back and he's going to lead in a lot of those categories. But among active pitchers, Greg Maddux leading right now in wins, complete game starts, innings pitched, and Biggio leading in a lot of offensive categories. So you have 2,861 hits against 325 wins.
Something's got to give.
1-1 to Biggio, tapped, foul. You think about how this inning started. It was Lance Berkman hitting a little tapper toward third from the left-handed batter's box. Got on via the infield hit. And the Astros have scored twice. Biggio hits it hard in the hole. Cedeno can't get it. And Ausmus is in, and it's 3-0. So career hit number 2,862 for Biggio.
Looks like Maddox got that pitch up over the heart of the plate a little bit. You can see Michael sets up on the outside corner. That pitch strays right back over the middle of the plate. Biggio hits it on the ground, but hits it hard enough to get it through the hole on the left side of the infield. Ronnie with a nice diving attempt to keep that ball in, but just can't quite get there. Ronnie was playing deep too. I think that's a smart thing to do with Maddox on the mound. 2 outs in the inning. You're pretty sure he's going to throw a ground ball, so why not give yourself as much range as possible? Ronnie was a couple steps out into the outfield grass that time.
Just inside. 1-1 on Lamb. 6-game hitting streak. He is 9 for 20 during the streak. Ground ball, Nafee gobbles it up, gets it over to Nevin. An 8-batter inning, and the Astros scoring 3 times, taking the early lead. Frustrating second inning for Greg Maddux. Don't miss out on your chance to own part of historic Wrigley Field. Authentic bricks from the walls of Wrigley are available to be purchased at Cubs.com. For more information and to order, visit Cubs.com, where baseball is always on. Early hole for the Cubs tonight. They beat the Astros in their first game last week, have not won since. The overall numbers for Phil Nevin combined between the Rangers and the Cubs, and the average up quite a bit here in the National League. 3 of his 7 hits with the Cubs have been home runs.
And in my opinion, we still haven't seen Phil Nevin hit a home run to his strongest field. All his days as a National Leaguer down in San Diego, he had tremendous opposite field power from right center around to the pole in right field. All 3 of his home runs as a Cub have been pulled to left.
That is a fair ball inside the bag down the first base line. Through the bullpen area, Nevin has a double. Now making his 4th consecutive start, and he's shown a lot of power. Got a double and a home run last night, 2-base hit to lead off the second tonight.
Good start to the second inning by Phil Nevin. Fastball down and in, just swings a little bit late, but catches it right on the sweet spot of the bat. A screaming hard ground ball down that first base line. Rolls through that Astros bullpen. That'll be an easy double. And Oswalt has had a lot of problems with the mound. In the first inning, he was really digging around at that landing area out there in front of the mound. Apparently he has it to his liking now.
You know, it should be okay as far as he and Maddux, because they're both 6 feet tall, although it looks like they're both landing in different spots.
Well, it doesn't it doesn't take much. Just a half an inch one way or the other, or longer or shorter, and you're landing on the side of the other guy's landing hole.
Oswalt has pitched here quite a bit. His 9th career game at Wrigley, his 8th career start. He's 4-2 with a .420. 9-6 lifetime against the Cubs. One and one. Six hits for the Astros. The Cubs just got there first from Phil Nevin. A 1-1 base hit. Nevin had to hold up to make sure it got over Biggio. They're at the corners with nobody out. Well, tonight is authentic autographed Easton Aramis Ramirez Baseball Bat Day, sponsored by Pepsi. The first 20,000 fans through the gates got a scratch and win card. 100 random winners getting an authentic autographed Easton Aramis Ramirez Baseball Bat, compliments of Pepsi. And also second chance drawings throughout the game. As you like to say, everybody deserves a second chance.
Amen.
A chance here to get right back in it. And it's Jock Jones, who went hitless last night in 4 trips. Big swing.
.291 on the season for Jock Jones, hitting .300 with runners in scoring position. Good opportunity here to get on the board.
Astros want a double play up the middle. They're not going to get it. Deep left. This will get the run in, no problem. Wilson with a good arm, but he's just going to lollipop it back in towards second. And a sac fly for Jock Jones. 3-1.
But Jock Jones loves that ball up and out over the plate. That ball's above the belt. You can see Osmus reaching up above his shoulder to make the play. Jock has to kind of tomahawk it out there to left field, but gets it deep enough to score Nevin from third base.
So Ramirez left at first base. 1 out in the inning. And it's Matt Merton. Remember last night on a relay throw, ball caught Matt on the left hand. He's fine, but the last 2 fingers a little bruised. One and one.
Yeah, we're definitely at that point of the season. I would venture to guess that every player in uniform tonight has bruises or scrapes or scratches or cuts or pulls or strains somewhere on their body. Just the day-to-day grind of Major League Baseball. Injuries just don't have much of a chance to heal. Some of them you carry with you all season long. But as long as they don't infringe on your ability to go out there and do your job, you just keep playing with it.
Well, we talked about Chris Burke last night. He re-aggravated a left shoulder injury last week against the Cubs. Essentially separated his shoulder, missed 1 game, came back, and then over the weekend got taken out of a game because he was hit by a pitch on the left elbow, and then last night had a career night.
Sometimes a little pain helps you concentrate.
All right, you hear that. Now what does that mean?
Well, I think what it means is you're thinking about how bad your elbow hurts, and you're not thinking so much about what you need to do mechanically. You just react to the pitches that you see. You react to the fly balls that are hit to the outfield because you're grinding your teeth because your elbow hurts so bad.
As opposed to grinding your teeth about the way you're swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oswald with a couple of wild ones here in the sequence to Matt Merton. Missed badly with a curveball that bounced out in front of home plate and then threw a wide fastball on that last pitch. Still don't think he's comfortable out there on that mound.
Ramirez is running, and the ball is foul because it hit Merton first.
Wearing that guard on the left ankle. That ball looked like it hit on the top of the left foot. This is what happened last night. Going into second base to break up a double play, Adam Everett clipped him on that left hand with his relay throw to first base.
Ramirez not running this time, and it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. That ends the inning, but the Cubs do get 1 on to the third from Wrigley. 3-1.
Okay, we want to send out congratulations tonight to our friends Mark and Heather Wanless of Chicago, the proud parents of Kennedy Jacqueline, born early this morning. Young Kennedy weighed in at 8 pounds 7 ounces and is watching the game tonight with her two sisters Madison and Hallie. Brother Jack and mom and dad. Well, she's kind of watching.
Right. See if she remembers. One strike on Chris Burke. Cubs finally got him out in the first inning. Maybe charging, and the throw beats him. Boy, it is so great to see Ron Santo back at the ballpark. Got back to work last night over on the radio side. A nasty infection put him in the hospital during the Cubs' last road trip. But he's back where he is most comfortable. That's in the radio booth.
Yeah, over there in the piano lounge. You can just see the excitement on his face down in the dugout before the ball game today. The players all came over and said hello to Ronnie, asked how he was feeling. Geez, even the skydivers, the Golden Knights who parachuted into the ballpark, came over and talked to Ron for a long time. Big Cub fans.
You know, he said he watched the Dempster game and he turned it off. The one where Ryan was hanging on by a fingernail.
Doctor's orders.
And his wife Vicky told him the Cubs won. And he said, no way. I still think Ron's not quite sure that he believes that the Cubs won that game. But they did somehow. And if we could explain it to him, we would. Three and one on a very dangerous hitter, Lance Berkman. Outside corner, good location, and it's full.
Maddox changes speeds on his fastball so much, a lot of times you'll think it's a changeup. That's just a two-seam fastball that he floated up there in the low 80s. Nipped that outside corner.
Bounced right back to the 15-time Gold Glover. Now Greg took one off his right Achilles in his last start. You never would have known it by the way he reacted, but we found out later that that's something that would have knocked a lot of guys out of the ball game.
Well, he's so good fielding his position because he anticipates every ball being hit back to him. So he's in a good fielding position, got his hands up in a good defensive position, ready to make the plays. Now Mark O'Neill was talking about that ball that hit him on the right Achilles, and of course Mark ran out to the field, and Maddox says, listen, I know you're going to want to touch it, but it hurts too bad, so just leave it alone.
Well, he got the win, was taken out in the 6th in Cincinnati Friday, in part because of that injury earlier in the game. The wind and the 1-1 hit hard, backhanded, and dropped by Cedeno, and Lane will pick up what should be a hit. It is a base hit.
Maddox tried to run that sinker up in on the hands of Jason Lane. He just fights it off, kind of stepped in the bucket a little bit, pulled his hands in close to his body. Ronnie got to it, but couldn't field it cleanly.
Here's Preston Wilson. Drove in a run with a ground out in the 2nd. Fouled away. Well, Derek Lee took some ground balls, threw a little bit today, and tested the right wrist. He was able to swing a fungo bat and then a regular bat, but it didn't feel great. And it's going to take some time. And mind you, I mean, he said that he would come back quickly, and he's a guy who has battled through injuries, but this is by far the most serious injury he's ever faced. So it's uncharted territory for Derek Lee, and those wrists, as you have said many times, are very tricky. Picked up by Barrett. Nice play to get Preston Wilson. 2 out hit, no runs. It's 3-1 Astros. Tonight, Cubs batting in the home half of inning number 3 against Roy Oswalt. 8-9-1 due up. And Ronnie Cedeno promptly hits the first pitch in a center, slicing away from Burt. Extra bases for Cedeno. He's already thinking 3, and he will get in. 5th double already for Ronnie. Triple, rather. 5th 3-base hit for Ronnie Cedeno. What an exciting play.
Jumps on that first fastball he sees from Roy Oswalt. You can see that ball slicing away from Chris Burke into the gap in right center field. But guys that have speed and hit the ball in the gap, they're not thinking double. They're thinking triple right out of the batter's box. And if the outfielder makes a good play, gets the ball into the cutoff man, then they hit the brakes. But the key to a triple is out of the batter's box. Nice job by Ronnie.
He leads the club and is in the top 10 in the National League in triples. Dave Roberts, and guess who? Steve Finley at the top of the list. Steve Finley, the active triples leader. Corner men in against Maddox. They are back up the middle. They'll give up a run, and Maddox will knock in the run. 4th RBI of the year, number 78 in Greg's career. 3-2. Well, here are tonight's Walgreens Celebrity Bat Kids. The pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. 8-year-old Nicholas Anicelli of Lake Zurich, and Maria Sapienza, 16 years old, from Gurnee. They're having a great time tonight here at Wrigley, thanks to our friends at Walgreens and the Chicago Cubs. For more info on how to be a celebrity bat kid, it's WGNradio.com.
Well, what a nice job by Greg Maddox. He saw what the defense was doing. The corners were drawn in to protect against a possible bunt. Middle guys were playing back. Just slap the ball on the ground to one of those middle infielders. You're going to get an RBI and a run.
78 career RBIs for Greg Maddox. If he can score a run tonight, it would be his 100th career run. He has a stolen base this year. Hit a home run last year, his 5th career home run. That was against Boston. He does a little bit of everything.
You almost wish some of the other Cubs hitters had this same approach with runners at third base and less than 2 outs. That's just a play and pepper swing right there. Pepper's kind of a lost art. It used to be something that ball players did while they were waiting their turn to hit in the cage. Just get the barrel of the bat on the ball, hit it on the ground somewhere, and in this case it drives home a run. He makes it look too easy though.
Our producer Pete Toma with a shirt tonight that says no pepper allowed. 4-3 ground out for Pierre. Of course, the place you called your home in the big leagues for many years had that famous sign, no pepper allowed. The Stick in San Francisco.
Well, like I said, it used to be something that everybody did before you took your round of batting practice. It was just something to kind of get your eye-hand coordination going a little bit before you got in the batting cage. Get used to hitting the top part of the baseball, hit the ball on the ground to your teammates, and then you'd go in and take your round of batting practice. But I think the main reason is because it was tough on the field, tore up the grass behind home plate, and the grounds crew didn't like it.
One strike on Nathy. Down along the line, but this is slicing just out of play.
You know, and from the humble beginnings of a pepper game, it kind of evolved into a game they call flips, where guys will field the ground ball and you flip it to a teammate and he flips it to another guy, and eventually they just eliminated the bat completely and just started flipping the ball around. Don't really see the benefit, how that helps you prepare for a ball game, but that's kind of what we've come to.
Well, you think about how the Cubs have gotten their 2 runs. They got hits to get them on, but a sac fly and a ground out knocking them in. Keeping score here at the ballpark.
With his glove, he is ready.
That guy was going with one color for all the scoring on his scorecard. Some people like us, we like to mix up the colors a little bit just for quick reference. Popped up by Nathy. And it's Lamb under it. Cubs get another run. The deficit now after 3 is just 1. Ronnie Cedeno with a leadoff triple and scored the run on the Maddox ground out RBI. So it's now a 3-2 game. Maddox has yet to work a clean inning. He's given up at least one hit in the first three. Gave up all 3 runs in the second. The 0-1 to Ausmus is hit in the air back of short. Cedeno drifting out. 1 away.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports, your summer baseball station, is brought to you by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, and pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
And hey, Bob, have you gotten your Mark Knopfler tickets yet? The Dire Straits lead man will be performing with special guest Emmy Lou Harris at the Charter One Pavilion. It's coming up June 25th. Thanks to the Bud Light Concert Series. You can go online to Ticketmaster.com or call 312-559-1212. Swing and a miss from Adam Everett. Well, Greg got off to a great start this year, and he's had some struggles since the end of April. He's been very consistent at being efficient, and Ramirez with the bobble, the drop, and an error, his 3rd of the year.
No question, that was an in-between hop right there. Ramirez hesitated just briefly before charging and trying to get that ball on the short hop. But you'll see it comes up knee high. He does get it in his glove, but just doesn't get it cleanly in the pocket of the glove. It bounces out before he can get a bare hand on it. That'll be an error on the Cubs' third baseman.
That is the first Cubs miscue since last Tuesday. It's been over a week since the Cubs' last error. But Ramirez with just his 3rd of the year. Maddox and Nevin with a quick chat.
Oswalt has put down 6 sacrifice bunts this season, even though he spent a couple of weeks on the disabled list. Sure, Greg Maddux just wanted to make sure that Phil Nevin understood that he can bounce off that mound and make the plays.
Runner was moving, a pitch out, and they nailed him. So Everett erased by Michael Barrett.
Boy, nicely done. The Cubs sniffed something out there by the Astros. Everett on the move. The good pitch out. Good strong throw by Michael Barrett. Right on the money. Well, that changes the complexion of this at bat for Roy Oswalt. Thought he was going to have an opportunity to put down a sacrifice bunt and contribute to his team offensively. Now he's got to swing the bat. Oh, geez.
But he does swing the bat, and Matt Merton will have to chase it down. And Roy Oswalt with his 2nd hit tonight. So in 2 at-bats tonight, he has matched his season total. He came in 2 for 27. He's now 4 for 29.
You see where Michael's set up on that outside corner. Look where the pitch is. Belt high inside part of the plate. Even a pitcher's going to put a good swing on that pitch. One hops the ivy out there in left field.
First extra base hit this year, his 6th career double. Oswalt didn't take a great turn around first. Normally you go into foul ground, but he took a big turn. I mean, he went right straight to first.
He was too busy watching his base hit rattle around out there in left field.
Biggio skies one foul, and it'll drop untouched.
Kind of an awkward looking swing by Craig Biggio. Looked like a sinker that was up and just continued to run further in. Pulls his hands in close to his body, just fights it off down that 3rd baseline. It almost stayed fair. You don't get 2,800 and however many hits you said he's got without taking a few awkward swings.
What's the old line? He was chopping the high limb off the tree with that swing. 2 strikes on Biggio. Driven, and he's going to pick up an RBI as Oswalt comes around to score. So the 2-out double by the pitcher comes back to haunt Greg Maddux. 4-2.
Maddox's command just not what it usually is. Makes another mistake here on a 2-strike count. Throws a very hittable pitch to a good hitter. Craig Biggio in a very defensive mode with 2 strikes. He's just looking for anything close to the strike zone to swing at, and it's a pitch right down the heart of the plate.
It's 9 hits for the Astros already tonight. Lamb is 1 for 2. Started to say earlier that even when Maddux struggles, he's still efficient. He leads the National League in fewest pitches thrown per batter, 3.31, and he's always near or at the top of that list. I mean, you're rarely ever going to see him go 5 innings, 106 pitches. Just doesn't happen. And usually he comes out at about 85 or 90, and that'll get him through 6, maybe into the 7th.
Well, a lot of times you would look up at Greg Maddux in the 4th inning and see that he had given up 9 hits and figured that a lot of ground balls had found holes, because that's what usually happens when Maddux is on the mound.
Got a few visitors out there.
But he's been hit hard in the ball game tonight. He's made some mistakes up over the heart of the plate, and the Astros have punished him.
Well, you think the real killer bees are here?
Ooh.
Talk about the Astros.
Shoo him over to that first base dugout. Don't wave him to the third base side.
I think they're a little smaller than bees, but towering fly to center, and it's Juan Pierre, and that's it. But the Astros get a run, and they now lead 4-2. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Barrett, Nevin, and Ramirez. Oswalt, who is coming off the disabled list. While we have a moment, let's pause for station ID. Inside on Barrett. Talked about the Cubs getting those runs via the sac fly and the ground out. You think about what's gone on at home this year. Going into tonight, the Cubs had been outscored 139 to 106 and out homered 40-18. So they've had to find other ways to get runs. Barrett hits it hard and into left. 6-game hitting streak for Michael. Off to a great start here in the month of June. His 16th hit already this month.
You know, one thing about a team that's forced to play small ball to score their runs is we get another look at Michael Barrett's clean base hit through that left side. When you're trailing in a ball game, it's kind of hard to play small ball. It's hard to give up outs and sacrifice runners and play hit and run when you're trailing in a game. One swing of the bat by Phil Nevin could solve that right here.
It's been a frustrating night on the mound for Greg Maddux. Gave up that 2-out double to Oswalt, who later came around and scored. Oh, 1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nevin. Well, you don't want to have an all or nothing offense, but I think it's that combination that every team would like to have. You'd love to have speed. You'd also love to have some pop. And Phil Nevin, again, making his 4th straight start. This is the first time since they acquired him that he has started against a right-handed pitcher. All the other starts had come against lefties. Big swing and a breaking ball, and it's 2-2.
Oswalt with the slightest of pauses out there in the middle of that delivery to the plate, very nearly balking.
Barely came set that time. Still 2-2.
I mentioned Nevin had a big night last night against Andy Pettit. He doubled early in the ball game and then absolutely crushed a home run to left field. Third is a member of the Cubs.
That's a slow curveball at 66.
It really rushes that delivery to home plate. Just a slight hesitation, then jumps at the hitter. 66-mile-an-hour breaking ball out of that jumpy delivery.
Gonna check on Barrett. I was just thinking about that combination that you would like in an offense. That's why everybody goes after the 5-tool players, the guys who have the speed and the power. Barrett running, and it's ripped into center. Michael will make the turn, and he will slide in safely. Phil Nevin 2 for 2.
Phil Nevin just muscles that ball into shallow center field. Nice job of base running by Michael Barrett. Once you pass that point and no return, you may as well just keep on running. If Chris Burke comes in and makes a shoestring catch, they're going to double you off first base anyway. Just keep on going.
So the Cubs keep pushing here. They have not led, but single tallies in the 2nd and 3rd, and trying to get at least one here in the 4th. And again, they're getting Roy Oswalt, who may be a little rusty, coming off the disabled list. Base hit this time, knocks in a run. 4-3. 3 straight hits to start the 4th.
Now Ramirez picks on a first pitch changeup here. Oswalt's command is not what it normally is either. He left that pitch over the outer third of the plate, giving Ramirez an opportunity to hook it back through the hole in the left side of the infield.
So Jim Hickey, the Astros pitching coach, is out. A chat with Oswalt. Ramirez picking up his 35th RBI. Well, we have a moment, couple of birthday wishes tonight. Happy 56th to Father Tony. Father Tony is being cared for at Blue Skies Hospice in Hammond, Indiana. Wanted to send out happy birthday wishes. Also, longtime Cub fan George Kiefer Jr., Glenview, 86 years young today. Father of Cubs spring training organist George Kiefer. And Mick McTagg turned 86 recently. Raised in Whiting, Indiana.
And Mick probably knows this since he's such a great Cubs fan, but Jock Jones digging into that left-handed batter's box, a .326 hitter with runners on base, 5 homers, 26 RBI.
Well, tying runners in scoring position. Strike one on Jock.
262 with the bases empty.
The 0-1 is fouled back 0-2. Now, when you see numbers like that, how much of it in your mind is random, and do you think that guys are able to bear down a little bit more with runners on base?
Well, I think there's a certain amount of it that's random, but I think in the case of some hitters, they do bear down a little bit more with runners on base.
Swing and a miss. And Jones strikes out, first out of the inning. Well, one thing you do is you get a guy working from the stretch. It's a first strikeout for Oswalt.
And there's some holes usually open defensively because you're either holding a runner on or jockeying a guy back at second base. Another off-speed breaking ball just off of the outside corner right there. I think I mentioned it early in the ball game, and I'm a firm believer that Oswalt's delivery sets up a lot of his pitches. He jumps at that hitter and, throws you a good fastball in the low 90s, and then he'll jump at you again and throw a breaking ball in the low 60s. That's quite a spread to try to differentiate between as a hitter.
Merton to short on the ground. Everett. Biggio, the relay is just in time. And a rough night for Matt. He is grounded into 2 double plays, but the Cubs get 1. They're down 1 again. Cubs offense keeping the Cubs in it tonight. They've had chances to get more, but they're only down 1. Ramirez with the latest RBI. making it 4-3. So Maddox back to work. 0-2 as he is still seeking his first strikeout, although strikeouts have never been that important to him, even though he's closing in on 3,100 for his career.
Well, you have to throw at least 3 pitches to get a strikeout. Maddox would rather throw 1 and get a ground ball.
Wind, here he comes. Liner just past the sprawling Ramirez. So Chris Burke with his 5th hit in this series. Don't forget to check out our WGN baseball blog, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. We got all kinds of stuff on the blog tonight. Highlights from Mark Pryor's rehab last night in the Big Easy. We have some comments Mark made earlier. I have the health update on all the guys who are on the DL. And lots more. Check it out. Also photos from Wrigley coming up in the next few minutes. WGNTV.com. Thank you, Dunkin' Donuts. Carlos Marmol got a little gift after the game in the shortest interview ever conducted on WGN. We were talking with Ryan Dempster on the way back from Cincinnati on Sunday. We've got to come up with some hand signals from the dugout to the booth, because we had Carlos on during a commercial break, and Ryan thought that he had been there a lot longer and on the air longer than he really was. So we asked him one question. We got out about 6 words, and then Dempster got him.
Got him good, too.
Got him real good. If you haven't seen it, check out the blog. Two and one on Berkman. Big swing, 2-2.
Would you notice Maddox whip his head around there to see what the runner at first base was doing on that swing and a miss from Lance Berkman? He is so aware of what's going on the field around him. Watch his head. Immediately checks the runner to see if he was on the move. Michael Barrett behind the plate was screened partially because of the left-handed hitter at the plate.
Runner going this time, swung on and missed. The throw a little bit late, and a good play by Cedeno just to knock it down and keep it out of center. First strikeout for Maddox tonight.
Tough play for a catcher. You want to stay back there and make sure your pitcher gets every opportunity to get that strike 3 on the hitter, but that slows down your unload time to second base, and this time Michael spikes it down there in the dirt, and that was a nice play by Ronnie Cedeno. We saw a play very similar earlier this year where Ronnie just tried to Olay, pick the ball out of the dirt, and apply the tag simultaneously, missed the ball, went into center field, and the runner advanced. That time realized they had no play on Burke at second base, so he just made like a goalie, block the ball, keep it on the infield.
Two hits for Jason Lane, a double and an infield single. Outside, we had a shot of Juan Lopez, a Cubs bullpen coach. Looked like he had a cell phone there. Well, it's a new wireless technology that the Cubs debuted last night. So dugout to bullpen, wireless. The Hall of Fame was here yesterday. So the phones that were involved in the first call to the bullpen, wireless, going to Cooperstown. Astros lead 4-3 in the 5th. The pitch. Tapped. Maddox off the hill quickly, and he'll get the out. Good base running by Chris Burke as he took third base, as Maddox was concerned more about the out. So 2 away with Wilson coming up.
That's a rare mistake by Maddox in my eyes. I think he should have checked the runner here. I guess he assumed that the guy was off and running on the swing right there and didn't bother to check the runner at second. Burke had frozen in his tracks knowing how good a fielder Maddox is, and when Maddox never looked at him, he advanced on to third base. That is good base running and very uncharacteristic of Greg Maddux not to check on the runner. Greg Maddux certainly has fielded enough of these comebackers. He doesn't need my help to tell him what to do, but if he took a peek right there, Burke would have had to retreat back to second base, and he still would have had enough time to get the out at first. But Maddux is more concerned with the hitter at the plate right now.
I think you're right. I think Greg assumed that Burke was already at third. Well, they've come up big in this spot already tonight. The 0-1, Wilson fouls it off. It would be easy for us to sit here and say that Burke should have taken off for third, but number one, we didn't know what kind of angle he had on that ball. Number two, you don't want to get thrown out at third in that spot. You're already in scoring position, and you have a 15-time Gold Glover on the mound. So it's completely understandable that Burke would have hesitated. And if there had been nobody out, Bob, I think we both agreed Greg would have looked.
Probably would have. I mean, Maddux knows that if he gets the out at first base, that's 2 outs in the inning, no matter where Chris Burke is. And he's going to go to work on Preston Wilson here, try to get out of the inning unscathed.
That's one of the things about Greg. He gives up stolen bases, but a lot of it is because he is much more focused on the hitter, but he gives up another 2-out hit. The 4th hit for Houston with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. So it's 5-3.
And Preston Wilson considers this a favor from Greg Maddux. He was tardy on a couple of 83-mile-an-hour fastballs, and Maddux rolled a curveball up there that stayed high in the strike zone, and Wilson just chopped it into center field to drive home a run.
Another multi-RBI night for Wilson. 3 last night, and he's knocked in 2 tonight.
5 in 5 games against the Cubs this year.
Now, this is the kind of night we have talked about. The wild Greg Maddux is the hittable Greg Maddux. He has thrown a ton of strikes, but a lot of hittable strikes. No walks. That has not been the problem.
And the hittable strikes have usually been deeper in the sequence when he's jumped ahead 0-1, 0-2.
High bouncer handled by Ramirez. He'll get the short out. Nafy covering second. Another single run for the Astros, and their lead once again is back to 2. beautiful night here on the north side. 5-3 Houston. Don't forget to check out our new baseball podcast available at WGNTV.com. Go there and look for Len and Bob's podcast on the left-hand side of the site. Click, download, play, and enjoy. Cubs have scored in each of the last 3 innings, but they trail 5-3. Fouled off by Cedeno. Hit the first pitch he saw in the 3rd inning for a triple. In case you are wondering, the Astros roster move to accommodate Roy Oswalt back on the roster. Cedeno grounds out to second. Left-hander Philip Barzilla was optioned to AAA Round Rock, and I mentioned that we had a little fun with the Godzilla conversation. When Barzilla walked out of the pen on Sunday as he made his major league debut, they played Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult over the PA. So that's a little eerie considering our off the beaten track conversation the other day. Fouled away by Maddox. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Up the middle. Everett behind second with all kinds of time. 2 ground ball outs for Oswalt, and Pierre will take some pitches.
And more than likely will show bunt on the first pitch or second pitch, maybe both. Just give Maddox a little bit of an opportunity to regroup, get back in that dugout, get a cup of water, towel off a little bit.
I mentioned on the blog some injury updates for the Cubs. Scott Williamson is going to head out on what the Cubs hope is a quick minor league rehab assignment. Tomorrow he's going to go over and pitch for Peoria as the Chiefs take on Kane County. So he won't have to go very far. Tendonitis in his elbow. That's why Williamson is on the DL. And then if all goes well, he's going to try to go back-to-back in Des Moines for Iowa on Saturday and Sunday. Boy, we have worn out Cubs head trainer Mark O'Neill this year. Every day there's some new information on one of the injured Cubs.
Now he's had way more face time than he would like in that interview room downstairs.
The Mark Pryor update, well, he may be back for his next start, or it's possible he could make one more minor league rehab outing. He was terrific last night pitching for Iowa in New Orleans. 6 2/3, 1 unearned run. Wilson on the move, foul, ground, lays out. What an effort. He goes flying into the bullpen, did not make the catch. Well, that was a great effort by Preston Wilson.
Boy, very dangerous territory of the ballpark over there by the bullpen mounds. Goes hard into the chair. It's over somebody's.
It was Ryan Dempster, I think.
Drink out there.
Yeah. Former
Heads up.
teammate. Hit hard, and it'll squeak through for Pierre's first hit tonight. Well, the reports were great. Mark felt good last night. And the question now is, and I think the Cubs will know by Friday whether or not his next start will be in the big leagues. But he threw 90 pitches and threw a lot of strikes.
He used all his pitches, said he felt very comfortable out there on the mound. As always, after a rehab start, the big key is how does he feel today and tomorrow? Will he be able to continue on his regular throwing program? And If so, what does that mean for his next start?
His next throw day in between starts is Friday, so I think by then the Cubs will know. Some normal soreness today for Mark. The rotation coming up this weekend as currently laid out. We know Carlos Zambrano will pitch tomorrow against right-hander Fernando Nieve, and then when Detroit comes in, Glendon Rush will pitch Friday against the left-hander Nate Robertson. Carlos Marmol at this point scheduled for Saturday, so he'll get an extra day. What a matchup that is against Justin Verlander, a fireballer. And then Sunday, Kenny Rogers will seek not only his 10th win this year, but his 200th career win in his first ever start here at Wrigley. And at this point, Sean Marshall is listed. Fly ball, right center. Jason Lane with a catch. Inning comes to an end. It's 5-3 Houston after 5.
Threw the ball well, and it was nice, free and easy, and felt like I attacked hitters and went after guys. It was a good outing.
Len and Bob and our WGN Sports crew with you tonight from Wrigley. Astros 5, Cubs 3. Adam Everett, first pitch swinging, and he grounds out. Mark Pryor talked earlier today about his start last night, his 4th minor league rehab outing.
Threw the ball well, and it was nice, free and easy, and I felt like I attacked hitters and went after guys, offensively, and put them more on defensive, and overall I think it was a good outing.
Starting at AAA, he's increased his pitch count. The intensity has been ratcheted up. Felt a little tired at the end, which is certainly understandable. And the next question is, does he have enough stamina to make his next start in the big leagues? So they'll huddle the next couple of days and figure it out. Kerry Wood on the DL through a bullpen session yesterday. And the big thing with him is to get on a every 5-day schedule as Maddox throws out Oswalt, and make sure that that recovery starts to become more consistent.
Yeah, everybody has a different routine between starts as far as what they do physically with the training staff, what they do as far as long toss, their side session in the bullpen, and you'd like to see Kerry get to the point where he can stay on a regular routine between starts, not have to take an extra day here or there and throw the rotation into chaos and overwork that bullpen.
Biggio with 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Right back to Maddox. He knocks it down, and he'll throw out Biggio. And for the first time tonight, Maddox with a 1-2-3 frame. Cubs still trail by 2. Welcome back to Wrigley. 5-3 Houston. And the power guys in the Cubs lineup, Barrett, Nevin, and Ramirez. And the last time they started an inning, they had 3 straight hits.
Well, Michael Barrett's been seeing a steady diet of pitches on the inside part of the plate tonight. Lined out to center field his first at bat. Singled last time up through the left side of the infield. And Oswalt, in all 3 at bats, has started him with a little cut fastball away and then just started pounding on the inside part of the plate. And as we know, Michael has been real quick inside lately. Going away this time.
Big night again for Nevin, 2 for 2. And he'll hit next. 0-2 pitch is shot into right for Barrett's second hit. Good start to the 6th inning for the Cubs, and let's check out tonight's Honda Ridgeline game summary. Biggio, Lane each with a couple of hits, only 2 strikeouts combined, 1 for each starting pitcher. Triple by Cedeno in the 5th inning. I think the key hits really tonight have been 2-out hits from Roy Oswalt, keeping innings alive and eventually leading to runs for Houston. That single by Barrett, the 8th hit for the Cubs. By the way, Honda Ridgeline, the 2006 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. See it today at your Honda dealer.
If you looked at the probable starters for tonight's ball game, you would have never anticipated 19 base hits through 5.5 innings with Oswalt against Maddox.
And that'll be in the hole, and they just get it out at second. Interesting, because Lamb let it go, and Everett had to go deep in the hole, and they get the out at second. So fielder's choice for Nevin.
A little topper, a lot of top spin on that ball. Boy, Everett makes every play from every angle and rarely makes a bad throw. I mean, that's an off-balance throw, fading away off the wrong foot. Gives it to Biggio on the back of the bag where he can stay away from the sliding runner and get the force out.
After seeing the replay, it looked like Lamb would have had to leave his feet to make the stop. Now, I don't know if it went through his mind, but he knows that Everett's going to be behind him with that terrific range. So it was a smart play to let it go.
I mentioned it during last night's ball game. Everett is really kind of a throwback to the days of Mark Belanger, when you really didn't care if your shortstop hit very much as long as he makes all the plays defensively, and Adam Everett makes all the plays.
Two and one.
Of course, if you're going to carry a shortstop that hits around 200 and makes all the defensive plays, you're going to need some offense from other positions, and more often than not, the Astros do get that.
Fly ball. Pretty shallow, and it sends Lane way in to record the second out. The Cubs take on the Brewers at 1:20 on Thursday, June 29th. The first 20,000 will receive a scratch and win card, and 100 random winners will get an exclusive limited edition Wilson A2000 Youth Baseball Glove, compliments of Kellogg's. No purchase necessary. For complete rules, visit Cubs.com.
There's a game used Wilson baseball glove.
He has his name on that one. Did you have your name on your glove stitched in?
No. I don't think we had the technology to do that back then.
The stitch in the leather.
Jock has to get out of the way of a fastball way inside this time. You're never really sure with Roy Oswald whether those are purpose pitches or whether they just get away from him. We mentioned he's just coming off the disabled list. It would certainly be understandable if he was a little rusty, a little spotty with his command, and at times he has let some pitches go wild toward home plate.
He was the MVP of last year's NLCS. Hoping the Astros get to the World Series for the first time. Got a piece of the home plate umpire, Lance Barksdale.
It's been a rough week for umpires. And the professional courtesy, the guys that wear the gear. Brad Ausmus goes out to talk to Roy Oswald, has nothing whatsoever to say to his pitcher, but just wants to give Lance Barksdale an opportunity to regroup back there behind home plate. If it were Brad Ausmus that got hit with the foul tip, Lance Barksdale would be sweeping off home plate, getting a new supply of baseballs. Anything he can do to give your fellow padded warrior behind home plate a little extra time.
1-2 to Jones, and he missed it to end the inning. Houston 5, Cubs 3. 5-3 Houston. Game 2 of a 6-game homestand. Greg Maddux now into the 7th inning. He has not thrown 100 pitches all year. Probably won't tonight. It's been a while since he's gone into the 7th inning. Have to go back to April. Check that. He went 7 1/3 on May 13th. That was the only other time since the end of April he had gone into the 7th. And Cedeno throws out Mike Lamb. Time now for our Bud Light fan cam. Some new DNB with Jurassic 5. Work it out. Dave Matthews Band, Jurassic 5. Work it out. It's a new single. Speaking of which, Chris Burke's only hit was a single in the 5th. Stole a base, scored his 6th run in the series. I want to wish a great recovery to Patricia Cohen, Eddie's mom. Ed Cohen, the Cubs video room coordinator. And Patricia got home from the hospital today and watching us tonight. Bounced foul by Chris Burke. Rick Sutcliffe coming up with our 7th inning stretch tonight. Won the Cy Young in '84. Popped up. Ramirez will take it. Time to have a ball with the Illinois Lottery. 22 years ago yesterday, the Cubs acquired Sutcliffe from the Cleveland Indians. One of the greatest midseason acquisitions in the history of baseball. Yeah, grabbing the shoulder.
Ouch.
Thanks to our friends at the Illinois Lottery.
Ouch.
He's got the throwback road uni on tonight. Check swing strike on Lance Berkman. Sut's ready to go. Rick here with his daughter Shelby tonight. We're going to do the honors. David Aardsma is up. Now, is Shelby happy to sing tonight, or did you drag her up here to do this with you? Oh, you guys will do fine.
Threaten to take away that allowance. She'll do anything you want her to do.
1-2 pitch just missed the inside corner. Well, Greg wanted that pitch based on his body language afterward. Easy play for Nafee. The Sutcliffe's coming up.
After the ball game is the 1984 National League Cy Young Award winner, Rick Sutcliffe.
Hey! It's great to be back. You know I need your help. Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game.
To the ground.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. For it's root Root for the Cubbies if they don't win. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Seven. Rick Suck with us. Dan Wheeler is out of the Astros bullpen, and a strike on Matt Merton. How you doing, Sut?
Lynn, I'm doing great, man.
Good to see you.
I'm doing great. Great to be back here with you guys, Bobby.
We were teasing about that first pitch. It looked like that hurt.
It looked like it felt then.
The 0-1 is taken for a ball. BB, you had mentioned something the other day. We were talking about arm issues, and you had an interesting story about Rick.
I remember you said one time somebody asked you, why do you take so long between pitches? And you said it takes that long for my arm to stop hurting so I can throw another one.
It did, particularly there at the end, huh?
Golfed into right, and it's Jason Lane for the first out.
Wow. How about this place, huh? I mean, we're right. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's a bad angle there. Look at the hole in the haircut.
Now, some things never change. You see how far in front of the rubber he was when he threw that pitch? He used to do that during games, too.
Oh, no.
You know, I should have got up there a lot further facing you, big boy. Somehow, was I tipping my pitches? You can finally come clean now.
No, are you kidding me?
I was doing something. You were right on that slider all the time.
Did you wear him out, Bob?
He got me.
I don't remember.
You took me deep.
I'll take your word for it.
I remember.
Do you remember the guys who had your number more than the guys who you had their number?
Well, there's a guy named Mike Schmidt that
This is going to be Jason Lane again. Continue.
I remember a funny story. I was pitching opening day in 1988 in Philly, 88 or somewhere around there, and he had hit his 500th homer. And opening day, they had a big program with him on the cover, and open it up, you know, reading before the game, whatever. It said Mike Tenn's all-time top 10 pitchers. And at the top of the list was Jerry Royce. And, Bob, I was tied with Nolan Ryan. And I thought, hey, you know, I mean, what a compliment, you know. Well, I should have left it at that, but I read a little further. It was the top 10 guys that he'd hit the most home runs off of. So,
well, you made the list.
I made the list. I made it all the way almost to the top of that list.
Freddie Bynum at the plate. Greg Maddux now out of the game because Bynum is hitting for him. You have any good Greg Maddux stories? Are you surprised that he's still pitching at age 40?
He could probably pitch till he was 50 if he wanted to. I mean, he knows how to pitch. He's smarter than any player that I was ever around. I remember when he came here, his first year in the big leagues, they put his locker in Jamie Moore's locker right next to me, thinking that they might learn something from me, right? You know what? It was just the other way around. We would lean on that dugout, look out, and I'd say, hey, what do you think's coming now? And you know what? I mean, 99% of the time they were right. They knew what pitch to throw. They knew when to throw it. For both of them, Bobby, it was just a matter of learning to locate it. And obviously Greg learned a little bit sooner than Jamie did, but, you know, great careers for both of them.
And Maddux looking for his 326th win, but it'll only happen if the Cubs can get some runs here. foul territory near the bullpen, and it'll drop without a play. Well, you talked about always coming back to Wrigley, packed house tonight,
Len,
the Cubs convention. I mean, it's just great.
You can blame John McDonough for, suffering through another take me out to the ball game. But the other thing about John McDonough, you got to give him all the credit in the world for what we see here at Len. What he's done with the Cubs convention. I mean, that's one of the first things that I put on my calendar every year. Bobby, you've been with some other teams. I mean, there's nothing like it, is there?
Nothing like it anywhere in baseball.
The passion, the opportunity you have to mix stories back and forth with the fans, the opportunities that he gives all of us former players, to kind of go off on your own and, reminisce about the 84 year and, the 89 year and, the fun times that we had here.
Bynum with a base hit to right. The inning continues. I was just going to add that one of the great benefits is that every year you can count on seeing the guys you played with long ago.
And Bob, how about this? How about them all showing up?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The amazing thing is you get upwards to 100 former players coming back every year for that convention and looking forward to it. As you said, they circle it on the calendar as soon as the baseball season's over.
Had an interesting thing, Len, as we get introduced, at the very beginning of it. I get ready to walk out, and Ernie Banks looks at me, and he goes, "Oh, you're cheating." He goes, you had something done. You had something done to your face. What, you have some of that surgery? And I looked at him and I went, no, I swear I didn't do anything. So I go on out and introduce me. So the next day, we got to go to a break. I'll come back. I'm sure this story will keep him.
Save that. We'll be right back with Rick Sutcliffe. Left-handed hitter Juan Pierre Bynum is at first with 2 outs in the inning. Okay, let's finish the story.
I know it's long enough already. Sorry about that. So anyway, I started thinking that night, and the next morning I thought, well, that's kind of a compliment. So I go to breakfast. I'm sitting there with Dusty Baker and a bunch of the guys. I tell the story. I'm thinking, it must be kind of a compliment. Dusty goes, you know what? Ernie hadn't been able to see for 5 years. All right. The hard bake was right again, man.
So no surgery then?
No, no. You know better than that. I got to say one thing, man. Bobby, this former manager, Len, we've been around. Looking at Dusty and what the team and fans and all of us have gone through this year. When you think about Derek Lee, you guys have talked about, I listen to you all the time. You took away gold and silver from this team. And Dusty reminded me of something else. The stolen bases, the speed factor, all of the things that, you lost with one guy going down on, just one of those plays. It's just part of the game. Tough.
Yeah, he's a guy who is really at the top of the list when you look at the Cubs with power, with batting average. Not as fast as Pierre and Bynum, but he'll steal bases, as you said, and he's one of the best defensive players in the game at any position.
And how about this, Bobby? How about Dusty pitching out with Oswald up there? You know what? Even though you're down and everything's going against you, he's still managing. I know it's easy to take shots at him or whatever because of where the team's at. But if he calls that pitch out and it doesn't work, you know, being in that position, the fans are going to be on him the rest of the game. What are you doing? What are you thinking? They're going to bunt with it. You know what? He's still managing. He's still looking for things to try to help you win a ball game. He got that big out there, and you know, here's an opportunity to win a game. I mean, are you a little short? Yeah. I mean, from time to time, there's more talent on the other side of the field, but they're still playing hard. And Bobby, I know you respect that, man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, because of the personnel problems, the Cubs, they almost have to be perfect every night. They can't afford too many mistakes, and unfortunately, they've made some mistakes, but I don't think that should diminish the effort that we see on a nightly basis. These guys are trying. They're just a little outmanned right now.
Bynum picked off. He's going to try to get in, though, and he does. So that blazing speed beat the pickoff. Not how you teach it, but it worked. So he's in scoring position.
When you're as fast as Freddie Bynum, this will work. You get a left-hander that's a little slow in his move to first base and just outrun that relay throw from the first baseman.
You had a lot of those, didn't you, Bobby?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of those.
That's fun to watch.
No, I was the guy standing at home plate that just got a stolen base put on my numbers because of that.
Sounds a little bitter, Lynn, doesn't it?
Oh, you get used to it after a while. I don't even hear the bitterness anymore. 3-2 on Juan Pierre. Nafee on deck, visiting with former Cub great and a terrific broadcaster in his own right, Rick Sutcliffe.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you, Lynn. Thank you.
The 3-2 flared, and this will be caught by Biggio. You have a couple more minutes?
We can do
a couple more baseball topics. Rick Sutcliffe with us. We'll go to the 8th inning, 5-3. Our WGN Skybox tonight here at Wrigley. Dana Garcia from the WGN sales staff, along with a group of sponsors representing Hyundai, enjoying the ball game tonight. Bob Howry is now pitching in the 8th inning, facing Jason Lane, trying to keep the Astros right where they are and give the Cubs a chance to come back in the final 2 innings. Rick, you get to see so many different teams around both leagues. Let's start with this division. You have Pujols out, Derek Lee out. The Reds are intriguing. If they can pitch, they can hang around. The Cubs have a back end of their bullpen that's the envy of just about everybody. What are your thoughts on this division?
That. Right. I mean, when you stop and think about the Astros, and you know, we saw the Rocket during the World Baseball Classic. He's still pretty good. And, you know, the thing for them is going to be scoring runs. Kind of a funny story with Roger. Bobby, I go down the bullpen to watch him warm up. I never got to see that, right? I mean, I went down there with Nolan Ryan, the other guy. You're always going to learn something. And he's backdooring the slider. I mean, this is like the 10th of March. And I said, you know, he comes over, and I wasn't going to say anything. And he kind of looked at me and smiled. And I said, you know, a little early to be throwing that pitch there, isn't it? And he goes, yeah, I'm more surprised than you are. And I said, you know what surprised me more than anything about you? And he nodded. I said, you can hit. And he came right back, Bobby, with, you know what surprised me more than anything about Houston? That at times I needed to hit. So, I mean, he's getting ready, you know, as intense as any competitor we've ever known. I mean, that's going to be the big question. You know, if they score enough runs, they're going to be awful tough to hold down getting him back.
And they have that experience. They went to the World Series last year. 2-2 on Lane. Here's a pitch from Howry, and he struck him out. All right, right now it's an unfair question because it's still early, but best team in the National League.
Wow. You know, Bob, we were all three of us talking about it right before the break. I mean, the New York Mets right now. And I think as much as anything, you've got to talk about a team who has the ability and the financial resources to go out and pick up whatever it is they might need. There's still going to be injuries. Things will still happen. You're going to look at your club. You're going to say, hey, I need a left-handed bat on the bench. I need a defensive replacement. How about like what the Boston Red Sox did in 2004 when they went out and got a guy to pinch run late in the game? A guy like Dave Roberts, I mean, we know how huge he was in 2004. I mean, something like that could be big once again. Some of the teams that you mentioned, the Cincinnati, they may not be able to go out and add, Lynn. And if you can't add, then, you know, a lot of times you're subtracting because other teams are.
Well, you're right. Roberts was huge.
Remember Doug Minkiewicz? He came over just to, you know, to catch the ball late in the game. So you've got to like the Mets. So, Bobby, like we were talking, there's a swagger to that team right now. You talked to Bob Melvin. I mean, they had a rough series against the Mets.
Yes, indeed they did. The Diamondbacks went to Atlanta, swept the Braves, and were feeling pretty good about themselves, and then got spanked around by the Mets when they went back to Arizona. They got that combination of power and speed. You know, they got Reyes, one of the most electrifying players in the game. When he puts the ball in play, he's fun to watch. And then they got guys in the middle that can hit the ball a long way.
Took pressure off of Beltran. You know, he doesn't have to carry the load right now. His numbers starting to come around. You know, the Astros know very well what he's capable of doing.
2 strikes on Preston Wilson, who has 2 ribbies tonight. 1-2. All right, last thing. Give us a scouting report on Joel Zumaya and Justin Verlander. I read that Zumaya hit 102 in Toronto over the weekend. Are these guys for real? I mean, their numbers have been terrific for Detroit. We're going to see them this weekend.
Len, I got to be totally honest with you. I've not seen him in person.
Seen him. Okay.
Not in person. Now, I've watched Verlander on TV. I've seen the other guy come in throwing hard. What Jimmy Leland has done there with the attitude of that team. I did the White Sox game Monday night and was talking with some of those players, and they said, hey, they can hit. That was the first thing that a lot of those guys told me. The Ordonez and then the Guillen, who's playing shortstop now. You know, they can hit. And you got Jones down there in the bullpen. He's solid once again. If you can pitch, Bobby, you're not going away.
No. Pitch it and catch it. You got a chance.
What was the highest you ever hit on the gun that you remember?
Did they have a gun back then?
I had a bet with Greg Maddux that I was going to throw as hard as he did. Well, but you know, right when I took it out, I took it back to get ready to let it go. Something caught back there. I was hoping that on the replay it would have been my shirt, but it wasn't.
Well, it's always great to see you back here, and hopefully we see you here and your broadcasting travels will bring you back to Wrigley, and if not, we'll see you here anyway.
You know what? You know that I see you guys all the time, man. It's a great pleasure.
That.
Thank you so much for having me, Bobby.
Likewise.
You know how I feel about you, brother. I take notes listening to your telecast.
Please.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
You got it. We'll see y'all. Thanks for having me.
Still looks great in that uniform, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Rick Sutcliffe, 2 down here in the inning. So you got him. Were you just being humble, or
no,
did you not remember?
I'm really not one of those guys that remembers a lot of what I did in my career against specific people. I just remember it was always a challenge because Sut had so many weapons available. He'd sink his fastball, he'd cut it, the big overhand curve, a changeup, a slider. He would invent things out there on the mound. I just remember it was never a real comfortable at bat. I may have gotten him, but I don't recall.
Two 2-0 on Brad Ausmus. Howery with 2 strikeouts to start this inning. Hit on the ground. Nice diving stop by Nevin. He'll get to the base in plenty of time. Nicely done by Phil Nevin. He's had a nice night all around. Now we'll see Nevin batting third coming up in the 8th. As you look in on our production truck, here are our upcoming Cubs and Sox games in high definition on WGN and WCIU. Channel 26, sponsored by Comcast. Tigers and Cubs Friday at 1 here on WGN. Again Sunday at 1. And then Cardinals and White Sox. How about that matchup? Interleague play on the 21st at 7 o'clock on WCIU. All in beautiful HD. Sponsored by Comcast. New pitcher for Houston. Their 4th of the night, right-hander Chad Qualls. And Tony Womack will hit for Nathy Perez. Nathy went 0 for 3. Need a base runner and a home run. Tie it up.
Well, this is the inning to do it. The 2, 3, 4, 5, and possibly more hitters coming up this inning for the Cubs. This is the time to make their run. We know that Brad Lidge will be in there in the 9th. If the score stays the way it is.
Kind of interesting, last night Lidge came in a non-save situation with the Astros leading 9-1. He got the first 2 outs via the strikeout, but then had to battle hard to get out of the inning. He gave up 3 straight hits and a run. So the Cubs got some extra looks at the Astros closer. Three balls and a strike on Tony Womack.
Good take there by Tony Womack. That power sinker that Qualls features on the outside part of the plate, that's just going to be a ground ball to the left side.
Inside corner. And he walked him. First walk of the night Well, this Saturday, June 17th, the Cubs will battle the Tigers at 3:05 on Culver's Day here at Wrigley Field. The first 10,000 fans will get a $2 Culver's gift card, good at any Chicagoland Culver's restaurant. Culver's Restaurants, taste how much we care. That'll be a fun one. Andy Pafko will sing the 7th inning stretch. He participated in the 1945 World Series. One strike on Barrett. Tying run at the plate. Cubs closer is up, hoping the Cubs can get the lead. A lot of scoring early. We have not seen a run since the top of the 5th. Hit hard, and it is a fair ball. Kicks off the sidewall. Womack to third, and he stops there. Barrett with a single. First and third. Tying runs now on base.
Boy, nice hit, but an unfortunate carom for the Cubs. Michael Barrett goes down and takes this sinker right down the right field line. Look at his head stay right down on that ball, drives it the opposite way. I mentioned the unfortunate carom. Watch his ball kick off the wall and come right back out to Jason Lane in right field. A good strong throw to second holds Michael Barrett at first.
And the red-hot Phil Nevin. Back-to-back 2-hit games to start the homestand. Double and a single tonight.
Two of his 3 home runs have come after the 7th inning. Right now you just want to keep the ball off the ground.
Pitch to Nevin. Ball 1.
Against a sinker slider pitcher like Chad Qualls, that means you need to see that ball up. Anything from the middle of the thighs down is going to end up out of the strike zone and result in a ground ball to the infield. Make him get the ball up.
Kick and the 1-0 pitch. There is a ground ball, but it's in the hole. They will not get it out anywhere. 5-4, first and second. Nevin will get an RBI. We'll check on the scoring. It's a 1-run game.
He did get a pitch up, unfortunately rolled over and hit that ground ball to the left side. Everett going way in the hole, throws off balance back to second base. A rare bad throw from Adam Everett, gets away from Craig Biggio. Cubs have it cooking here in the 8th.
So first and second, no outs. They're going to give him a hit, his 3rd of the night, and Nevin with the RBI.
July 9th, the 2nd annual Hey Dad Want to Have a Catch event takes place here at Wrigley Field. WGN TV, Fidelity Investments, and the Cubs offer this unique chance to treat your dad to a game of catch on the Wrigley Field turf. It'd make a great Father's Day gift for Dad or Grandpa. Tickets are on sale now. Call 773-404-CUBS for more information. Proceeds benefit Cubs Care, a fund of the McCormick Tribune Foundation.
No action currently in the Astros pen. A couple of guys are standing and watching, but now everybody's sitting back down. 1 strike on Ramirez. They're saving Lidge for the 9th, but the Astros might not get there. That's what the Cubs are hoping. Ground ball to short. Ramirez hustling hard, but he cannot beat the double play relay throw. Runner at third, 2 down. Qualls gets a huge double play ball.
This time Everett makes sure to give a good toss to Craig Biggio. Ran over there with the underhanded toss and just does beat Ramirez at first base on the relay throw. Slider down and away. Rami going hard out of that batter's box. He knows what's at stake, but just can't quite leg it out.
So Ausmus and Qualls, they'll talk some strategy with the left-handed hitting Jock Jones. Double play has been huge tonight. The Astros turning 3. They did it in the 2nd, 4th, and here again in the 8th. Each team with 11 hits. Tying run at third, Michael Barrett. Jones swings and just got a piece of it. Got a piece of Brad Ausmus as well. Stay tuned following the ball game. The WGN News next. One to Jones, a strike. And now no margin for error for the Cubs right fielder.
Backdoor slider from Chad Qualls. Starts it off the plate away, breaks it over that outside corner.
Well, they would like to hang that flag tonight. Cubs need to come back. They have a run here in the 8th. Two delivery, swing and a miss. So Jones 0 for 3, did hit a sac fly back in the 2nd. Cubs strand the runner in scoring position. They get one. They trail 5-4. Tomorrow, June 15th, Cubs and the Astros at 1:20. Be one of the first 20,000 fans and receive a scratch and win card. 150 random winners will receive a pair of Maui Jim sunglasses, compliments of MetLife. Fans are encouraged to hold on to their cards for second chance drawings throughout the game. No purchase necessary. For complete rules, visit Cubs.com. Ryan Dempster was ready to go. Not a safe spot, but hoping the Cubs can bat in the bottom of the ninth, down only 1. They trail 5-4. Womack stays in and plays second. One and one on Adam Everett. A pinch hitter on deck. And it's Orlando Palmeiro. He's in the pitcher's spot. Popped up. Womack telling Jock Jones, "I'll take it." The producer of Cubs baseball on WGN Sports, Pete Toma. Skip Ellison is our director. Our associate producer, Mark Brady. The executive producer of WGN Sports is Bob Vorwald. Thanks as well to our stage manager, Angie Adocchio. Our studio coordinator back at WGN, PJ Crushell, and our great WGN crew here at Wrigley Field. Speaking of which, Tommy Skinner, one of our great cameramen here at Wrigley, is under the weather, and we want to wish him a speedy recovery. So it's Palmeiro, veteran pinch hitter. 1 and 1 on him. Also wanted to say hi to Pat Priller watching tonight. Cubs trying to come back late. Biggio will bat after Palmeiro. Good pitch. Count even. 2 apiece. Hoping those two guys get off the DL soon. Swung on and missed. That's a strikeout.
Good slider from Ryan Dempster. That's been his go-to pitch so far in this outing tonight. Starts it just off the plate, catches that outside corner, gets the defensive swing from Palmeiro.
By the way, you did wear out Rick Sutcliffe. You went 8 for 22 with a double, an RBI, 6 walks. You hit .364 against him with an on base of .500. He remembered.
Owned him.
2-0 on Biggio.
If you're Ryan Dempster, you just want to make sure that this inning ends before Lance Berkman gets an opportunity to get to the plate. Berkman 10 for 27 lifetime against Ryan Dempster with 4 home runs.
Good point, and Ramirez will take care of it. So Dempster a clean 9th. Bottom 9 coming up. Cubs need 1 to tie, 2 to win. Merton will lead it off. Shop where the Cubs shop at Empire Today, the official carpet of the Chicago Cubs. Don't miss out on all the spring savings at Empire Today, your place for all your carpeting, flooring, window treatments, and bath liners. Next day, plus windows and siding in 2 weeks. Call 800-588-2300. All right, Cubs need at least one. You think about the scoring tonight, they scored in 4 different innings, 1 run in each.
They're due for a long ball. We haven't seen a long ball here. Matt Merton is the right guy to have leading off this inning. Coming into this series, he was 3 for 3 lifetime against the Astros closer, so I'm sure Dusty is hoping that that trend will continue here.
A couple of defensive changes. Chris Burke goes from center to second. And Willie Taveras, who covers a lot of ground in center, is out there now. Brad Lidge in his 33rd game. And his 0-2 riser. Cedeno on deck. And then a pinch hitter. Haven't seen Todd Walker tonight. Merton swings and sends it foul. Right side out of play. Numbers here at Wrigley. Gave up a run last night, but it didn't matter. Houston won 9-2. In the dirt on a slider.
That's that power slider, Lidge's signature pitch. He's got a fastball in the mid to upper 90s, which is an outstanding pitch also, but that devastating slider between 87 and 90 miles an hour just drops off the table.
They give Merton a lot of room out in left center. Really down the line and left too. You just see Preston Wilson way off the line. And Taveras shaded toward right center. Called strike 3. Well, Merton was 3 for 3 against Lidge, but now 3 for 4.
Boy, just a 96-mile-an-hour tracer right on the inside corner. Boy, when you can make a hitter move his feet as he's taking a pitch, that's saying something about the location and velocity on that pitch.
A wind in the 0-1. Cedeno lofts it, but it will be caught by Chris Burke. And it's going to be up to a pinch hitter, John Mabry. Who had a pinch hit double in the 9th off Lidge last night. Five for Houston here in the 9th. Astros scored 3 in the 2nd and have led throughout. The 0-1 outside. If Mabry reaches, it would be Juan Pierre. Two and 1. Well, this is exactly what Lidge did last night. He retired the 7 and 8 hitters and then gave up the pinch hit double to Mabry. Pierre followed with an RBI single. Swing and a miss.
If this score holds up, the Cubs would go to 5-12 on the season in 1-run ball games. The Astros, on the other hand, would move to 13-5.
2-2. It's full. too many have left. 39,946. (3-2) with 2 outs in the 9th. The pitch to Mabry, swung on and missed, and that's it. Brad Lidge looked pretty dominating in the 9th inning. 2 strikeouts, and he saves it for Roy Oswald, who comes off the DL and beats the Cubs. We'll have more from Wrigley coming up. Once again, the final: Houston 5, Cubs 4.